Tonight on CTV News at 6, significant snowfall on Christmas Eve, impacting travel in our province. On one of the busiest travel days of the year, Alberta is hit with a snowstorm, making for treacherous driving conditions.
We're just expecting, 2 times our normal call volume. We're trying to encourage people to try to stay home if they can, but if they are traveling, just be prepared.
Plus, open for business. Some attractions and restaurants are operating on Christmas Day.
We just wanted to make the decision to help out people in the community and, be open so that everyone can have family time together.
And taking a stroll down memory lane on Candy Cane Lane, we take a look at how the Christmas attraction became an Edmonton staple for decades.
The other neighbors in the street just started saying, well, can we do that too? And so it just kind of grew organically.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Nariman Isa.
Good evening. Driving conditions worsened early this afternoon with the start of another major snowstorm. With many people visiting loved ones tonight and over the next few days, Edmonton police are asking drivers to do what they can to ensure everyone gets to their holiday celebration safely. CTV's Nicole Lampa breaks down what to expect over the next few days.
Sheila Rossi is a considerate driver.
Had these things there and I couldn't get in. And it's pretty miserable out, so it's nice if we give everybody a chance, right?
She hopes others are the same when they travel this Christmas.
Just taking it slow. Slow and steady wins the race.
A fleet of AMA tow trucks are ready to go. The heavy snow mixed with cold temperatures is making Edmonton's roads treacherous. So AMA has a full staff of drivers working overtime over the next few days.
We're just expecting, 2 times our normal call volume, which we're trying to encourage people to try to stay home if they can, but if they are traveling, just be prepared.
And it's not just city roads that are a concern. The RCMP is warning drivers about dangerous highway conditions.
The Mounties point to last week's conditions that led to the 100-car pileup on the QE2 just north of Calgary. Police say Christmas Eve sees the same volume of drivers on Alberta highways as they do on long weekends in the summer.
That's combined with poor visibility, poor road conditions. Consider waiting if roads are bad at that particular moment, or not going in the middle of the snowstorm.
Prepare for the journey, not just the destination. Anything can happen in between. You could get stuck in traffic because there's a car accident and, stuck on the highway for a couple hours. So just make sure you have an emergency road kit in your car.
The AMA expects wait times for a tow truck will range between 8 to 9 hours over the next 2 days. For Rossi, she's putting in an extra driving wish on this snowy Christmas Eve.
Can you tell people to turn their lights on? Because if you don't turn your back lights on, people can't see you from behind in the snow.
Nicole Lampa, CTV News, Edmonton.
All right, we're bringing in Josh Clausen a little early today. Let's talk about this significant snowfall that we were seeing in, across parts of Alberta.
Yeah, and still a couple hours left of the snow here in Edmonton. It should taper off sometime mid to late this evening. This is what it looks like right now from Skycam. You can see the snow still coming down fairly heavily. We've got a freezing rain warning in the southeast. You've got a cold warning in the north, and then here in the Edmonton area and surrounding regions, a snowfall warning. There's also a snowfall warning for the Icefields Parkway, although I think that will be ended here early this evening. You could probably end the southern part of this snowfall warning as well. You can see heaviest of the snow now is just off to the south of Edmonton, and then a couple bands here further to the north and north of Lloydminster as well. In the purple zones, you're seeing some slightly heavier snow. So Red Deer, you picked up a good several centimeters of snow, but you're pretty much done with it until Friday. More snow in the Edmonton forecast for Friday as well. You can see all of this for this evening is slowly moving off to the northeast. So there's the back edge of it. That should come through somewhere around 10 o'clock tonight. I think at 9 p.m. there's probably still some snow in the area. Temperatures around minus 22, which is where we are right now. So it looks like temperatures will hold steady through this evening and overnight. Tonight will be about minus 21 early tomorrow morning. And then some sunshine, especially around lunchtime. Not a bad day. Wind fairly light, 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. That's enough to give you wind chill in the minus 22 to minus 26 range, but actual temperatures should get to around minus 17 tomorrow afternoon. There's an even bigger warm-up on the way for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We'll take a look at that and talk more about Friday's heavy snow in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Well, people in St. Albert will need to find a new place to skate after damage to a community rink over the weekend. CTV's Merrick DeCash reports.
So the vandals cut through this brace right here.
Even with a padlock on the door, someone was able to break into the pump house on Kingwood Boulevard.
Ultimately, electrical panel, several pieces of copper wiring, large cables were cut out of the building.
With an estimated $100,000 in damage, the skating rink will be closed for some time.
It's frustrating. Vandalism isn't anything new. We do see it quite regularly. This one was a bit much, though. This one is more than just graffiti. This is going to take a lot of effort to repair.
Police are unsure if one person or more broke into the shed. The damage caused is severe enough to leave the rink without running water for the next few months.
We're not sure how bad the frozen pipes are. We're not sure the extent of the cable costs or the breaker replacements that are going to be required. That's all being looked into right now.
In the meantime, people will have to drive to a new public rink.
We're certainly not going to be able to provide ice for the residents here anytime soon.
Police say the vandals knew what they were after.
Now it looks like the suspects in this incident were targeting precious metals within that electrical equipment. So we're talking copper wire and those sort of things.
Corporal Troy Savinkoff says electrical theft is part of a trend police are noticing over the past few years.
These are all different items that these thieves are targeting with the idea that they're going to steal the item. They're ultimately going to take it to typically a recycler and get money for it.
Police are asking anyone who sees suspicious behavior around pump houses to report it. Merrick Takash, CTV News, St. Albert.
The chief of the Calahoo Fire Station is asking that whoever broke into their fire station to return the life-saving equipment they stole. The break-in is believed to have happened Monday around 2 a.m. About $60,000 worth of fire rescue equipment was stolen. That includes equipment used to extract people from crashes, including a piece commonly known as the jaws of life. The fire chief says this is a senseless crime that put a whole community at risk.
If something would have come in and our staff would have responded to a call in that last 24 hours to rescue a patient, that they might have opened up the truck to find they weren't there and had to call the next station away, which could be up to 20 or 30 more minutes to respond to help.
The Calahoo Fire Station had to borrow equipment from other stations and is now fully equipped. RCMP is investigating. Students at an after-school program are learning about the pros and cons of artificial intelligence. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti has more.
This might not look like your typical dojo, but these young ninjas are learning new techniques in the STEM world.
Code Ninjas is an after-school tech program geared for kids ages 5 to 14, and we teach kids coding by building video games.
This winter camp is focused on how to spot artificial intelligence and how to use it.
You can use AI to create games and to have visual modules. Sometimes steal like a picture and that may make the creator of the person mad.
Code Ninjas believes understanding AI is a valuable skill for young people.
And now that it's becoming a lot more widespread, it's important that especially kids know like when is it okay to use AI and when is it not, and like learn about how they can use it in like everyday life.
Sometimes not be a good thing, but you should always be careful with what you're doing with AI.
Their teachers are called sensei and guide the kids through different projects.
A lot of the times kids, or not even just kids, like a lot of people, when they hear AI, they just think of like ChatGPT and that's it.
Instead, they're learning how AI can identify objects.
When you hold this up, it like puts so then it knows where you're holding up.
They say encouraging kids to learn coding when they're young can lead to future education and careers.
Our goal is to expose them to as much as we can and then see what they like, and then they hopefully will pursue something in the STEM area.
What do you want to be?
An engineer, because I'm really smart at math. When I was in grade 2, I could do grade 3 math. It's fun and it kind of helps me with my confidence and it helps me learn.
Tools that will help her and other kids navigate the world of AI. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
West Edmonton Mall was busy today with last-minute shoppers searching for that perfect gift. Now, with the clock ticking until Christmas, shoppers were scouring stores up and down the mall. Many tell us they were searching for stocking stuffers and last-minute gifts, and others say it's what you can't put under the tree that really counts.
I'm just happy that my family gets to be together for the next week. We all have the week off, so we get to spend a whole bunch of time together. So honestly, that's my favorite part. So I'm just looking forward to that.
A real horsey.
Oh,
she wants a real horse.
Okay. What about a stuffed horse? Wouldn't that be cool?
A real horse.
Okay. Well, you know what? We can always dream, right, Patty girl?
Well, if you're still looking to shop after Christmas, the mall opens at 9 a.m. on Boxing Day. While most Edmontonians have Christmas off work, others will be clocking in. Some restaurants, bars, movie theaters, and more will be open tomorrow. CTV's Gates Gorin has options for those who don't celebrate Christmas or for those who need a break from the festivities.
Christmas Day doesn't need to mean staying cozy at home. It can be an opportunity to try something new, like scaling a rock wall at Edmonton's largest bouldering gym.
There are a lot of routes to choose from beginner all the way up until very difficult ones as well.
Open from 12 to 5 tomorrow, blocks won't be charging regular price to climb. Instead, it's pay what you can, with donations going directly to Edmonton's food bank.
Yeah, we just wanted to make the decision to help out people in the community and be open so that everyone can have family time together.
Most of the city's movie theaters will be open for families and movie lovers to catch the latest blockbusters and chow down on some popcorn. For those looking to get away from the winter chill and go somewhere a bit more tropical, West Edmonton Mall's World Water Park is open for a quick splash or slide in the pool. Galaxyland is also open if you prefer your Christmas with a dash of adrenaline. Christmas Day can also mean going out for a meal.
We've always want to give a chance to those who don't celebrate Christmas or who are simply looking to get out of the house, an option to come dine in with us, pretty much.
Korean fusion restaurant Hanjan also offers up special cocktails if you're looking to keep the holiday party going into the night.
We're more than happy to offer a place where you guys feel taken care of, where you guys feel welcome, and we especially have karaoke, so if you guys want to have some fun here, you can definitely grab a drink or two and sing some songs as well.
No matter what you're into, there's more than enough happening in Edmonton to make this year's Christmas Day a memorable one. Gates Gorin, CTV News, Edmonton.
With a busy night ahead, St. Nick braved the snow earlier today to spread some Christmas cheer. He was spotted giving away candy canes to people on the pedestrian bridge by St. Albert Trail today. He even had time to take photos and greet a friendly imposter. It's the 15th year Santa has paid a visit to people on that bridge.
I just love being out with the good folks and to just bring Christmas cheer for Christmas Eve, because tonight's the big night, as you know. So it gets people excited. It makes me feel good. It gets Rudolph excited too. He's ready to rock and roll tonight, so it's going to be a great night.
And it's not just the pedestrians enjoying it. Drivers below the bridge also seem to enjoy his visit. Well, Christmas Eve may just be getting underway here in Edmonton, but Santa has been busy for hours delivering gifts in other time zones. So we're going to be taking a look at the NORAD Santa tracker throughout the show. And right now, he appears to be headed for the French Guiana. And so far, more than 5 billion presents have been delivered. Stay with us. Coming up, part 2 of our year-end conversation with the Premier includes questions about healthcare, privatization, and the use of the notwithstanding clause 4 times.
I guess the common denominator is we'll do whatever it takes to protect kids.
Brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
It was a busy fall session for the UCP government, including 4 uses of the notwithstanding clause. The clause was used to end the teacher strike and then to protect a trio of transgender laws from court challenges. CTV's Tara Nelson asks about that and more in part 2 of our year-end interview with the Premier.
As we tape this today, 21 MLAs, 20 of them UCP, including yourself, are facing citizen-led petitions. this has never happened in Alberta before, this sort of groundswell of anger. Are you concerned about the upset out there about some of the decisions that your government has made?
I think it's unfortunate because I believe it's an abusive process. I stand by every one of our MLAs. I think they're doing incredible work. I think we've got the support of the majority of Albertans on the agenda that we were elected to do, and I think the time to fight out these kind of policy differences are during a general election, which is scheduled for October of 2027. So I'll watch and see.
It is a pretty big protest movement, though. Does it concern you?
It's 21 people who've paid $500 and written a paragraph and gotten a CFO so far. So I guess we'll see what the petition campaign looks like.
Now, many of these petitions are linked to your government's use of the notwithstanding clause. So 4 times it has been used this fall. You've always described yourself as a libertarian. Yep. I think you still describe yourself that way, but you're imposing this government ideology on other Albertans and then removing their right to challenge it. So how do you reconcile those two things?
Well, I guess the common denominator is we'll do whatever it takes to protect kids. And when kids are facing gender confusion, they deserve to have time to figure out what their pathway is going to be and make their own choices. If they're going to make medical decisions regarding their body that might affect their fertility, they can only do that when they're of age to do so. And we put lots of limitations on the choices of kids. We don't let them drink or smoke or do drugs or sign contracts or drive. And so it's very reasonable that if somebody is going to make a decision that ends their fertility, that they're old enough to understand what that means. And so that's why we said 15 years of age and younger is too young, but you can start the process when you're 16.
What do you say to the doctors who say we are more equipped to make these decisions, and to parents who say these are our kids, we're also equipped to make decisions for our own children?
There is another group of doctors that take a watchful waiting approach. Let a child get through the emotions that they have as they're going through puberty, and then once they're of an age to figure out what their pathway would be, then they can start that pathway, and that's what we're supporting.
Critics of the notwithstanding clause, the usage of the notwithstanding clause, say they call it an anti-democracy sledgehammer.
Well, it's the opposite of that. Democracy is decisions being made by elected representatives. And we have the ability in a system of parliamentary supremacy where we can pass a law, revise a law, repeal a law, and that is what we are elected to do. We have a difference of opinion with the court on these pretty foundational issues.
But their difference of opinion is that this is trampling on judicial independence and that it shouldn't be used proactively while they're midstream on a case.
Well, I guess I would disagree. We have demonstrated that we saw that they were putting an injunction against one of our foundational pieces of legislation in the case of protecting children from making premature medical decisions. We anticipated they would likely do the same for others, and it takes years for some of these things to wend their way all the way up to the Supreme Court. So when we made the judgment of what kind of harm might be caused to children in the meantime, we felt like this was the right path to take.
Let me ask you just about some healthcare changes that are coming. So different options in the province. Those who are willing to pay for procedures will obviously get some procedures faster. They already do. But what assurances can you give to Albertans when there's not a lot of detail in this plan yet that those who can't afford to pay for procedures won't get even slower treatment?
What we have found is that the more money we give to the traditional public hospital system, it's not resulting in improved performance. We gave $3.5 billion more to AHS, and we're doing the same number of surgeries today, finally, that we were pre-COVID. Meanwhile, when we started paying charter surgical facilities based on the number of surgeries they did, it's gone up 50%. It went up from 40,000 to 65,000. So we're moving to an activity-based funding model where we pay the facility for the surgeries that they perform. We hope that that is one way that will increase the number of surgeries. We're also paying for an additional 50,000 over the next 3 years to clear that backlog. And then dual practice should be seen in that light, is that we're doing all of this investment in the public health system, but then we're also creating another avenue so that doctors and surgeons who are only given a limited number of days in the hospital environment, some of them are only given 1 or 2 days a month, now they'll have the ability to take on additional patients, and we'll be requiring them to do at least as many surgeries as they are right now for the public system as they take on those private patients.
Doctors have expressed some concern about the plan, and they said that they haven't been consulted. Will you meaningfully consult with the AMA, with the CMA, and how soon?
Well, you know, some doctors have expressed concern, and some doctors have expressed enthusiasm. I've been watching the opinion pieces, and I guess that those who don't want to do private practice won't, and those who do want to do private practice will.
Looking ahead to 2026, price of oil is sitting around 58. The projection was more like 68. So what should Albertans expect going into 2026?
Well, I have told Albertans very frankly that we need $74 oil to balance our budget. That's what we have done. Albertans consistently want to have a low tax environment, and we've delivered on that. But what that means is that when oil prices are off by $10 or $15 or $20, it means it blows a big hole in our budget. That's why we're being very frank about the deficits we're likely to run this year. We hope that we can find a pathway to balance, but it's also the reason why we have to have more pipelines built. If we had built all 3 of the major pipelines that were set to go, Northern Gateway, Keystone XL, Energy East, we would be having 2.5 million barrels more of pipeline capacity and production than we do right now, which would be generating $50 billion a year in annual revenue. That's why we have put a singular focus on solving that problem, getting the investment climate back so that we can start rebuilding again. And it takes a little bit of time to do that. We're hoping to see some new additional production within the next couple of years. But as long as the prices stay low, it is going to be a lot of pressure on our budget for sure.
Premier Swift, we thank you for your time. Thanks for sitting down with us.
Yeah, good to see you.
Well, still to come, the lore behind Candy Cane Lane.
It was really exciting that first time.
From just a few homes to several blocks, we take a look at how the neighborhood became a local Christmas staple.
Snow moves out of the Edmonton area mid to late this evening, but it's back in place for Boxing Day. Talk more about that and the big warm-up early next week after the break.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
For 57 years, Candy Cane Lane has delighted Edmontonians with its colorful lights and festive decorations. Now, it's also a major fundraiser for the food bank. Tonight on Once Upon in Edmonton, we explore the lane's humble beginnings from 4 houses to 8 full blocks. Here's CTV's Matt Woodman.
From bright lights to jolly jingles,
say Merry Christmas,
and photo opportunities, Candy Cane Lane has come a long way since it started in 1968.
It was really exciting that first time.
Peggy Garrity and Pat Richardson are the daughters of Ron and Esther Matcham, Candy Cane Lane's founding family.
They were such Christmas people. Yeah. Christmas was the biggest thing.
When the Matchams moved on to 148th Street from Saskatchewan, they were inspired to start decorating by a similar street in Saskatoon.
My parents contacted the people in Saskatoon, and so they generously gave the pattern for the snowman and the candy cane. That was all there was at the start.
Candy Cane Lane started with 4 houses and a few wooden cutouts. The sisters say it quickly took on a life of its own.
And then the other neighbors in the street just started saying, well, can we do that too? And so it just kind of grew organically, people just wanting to be a part of it.
Everyone would agree on which night to switch on the lights.
They would call that was the light up night. And
they said that they got lit.
Yeah. There was probably a few rum and cokes that night too.
While the sisters settled in St. Albert, they visit the lane every December to see what's new and what stayed the same.
It hasn't changed. I think
the house looks
exactly the same.
So much the same. The street has changed a lot, but the house hasn't.
When we first moved here, we didn't really know much about Candy Cane Lane.
Amy Branting and her husband still live on the lane. They moved in here near 92nd Avenue in 1980.
This wasn't part of Candy Cane Lane yet. Candy Cane Lane at that stage of the game was only about 3 blocks long.
As the lane grew in size, so did the Brantings' Christmas display.
But we're running out of room.
In the early 90s, Branting and her neighbor Lori Burchell discussed adding a donation drive to Candy Cane Lane. They asked their neighbors to place boxes for the food bank outside of their homes.
The first night we realized we had a problem because the lady that was the first drop-off, she said, my living room's full, my hallways are full, and they're still coming.
While donation levels typically fluctuate with the temperature, the food bank says Candy Cane Lane has made a big difference for more than 30 years.
Most years it's about 10% of our overall food goal. It has been as high as 30,000 kilograms in 1 year.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I still get excited over seeing the bins finally go out.
While Ron Matcham had died by the time the food drive was introduced, Garrity and Richardson say their mother was thrilled.
Oh, she loved it.
Yeah, of course.
She loved it,
yeah.
Really.
Both are proud of the Christmas tradition their parents created, a tradition that's been celebrated for nearly 60 years.
It's just a reminder that people can do things in your community that are meaningful. And they don't have to be great, big, huge things. They don't have to change the world. You can create something that people love and enjoy, and it just brings happiness to people.
All right, time to track Santa with the NORAD Santa Tracker, and now he's in the Caribbean. He left St. Kitts. He's on his way to St. Martin, and you know, Josh, I'd probably tell him to stay there because the weather there and the weather here. You know what, though? He is from the North Pole. Maybe he would rather see snow on the ground than hot temperatures.
Sure.
Instead of ice on the roads, ice in a cup, ice on the roads, you know.
Rudolph's nose will light the way through the snow. It'll be just fine. Take a look outside right now. If you have places to head this evening, if you can hold off a couple of hours, it's going to dramatically improve here. That's the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace fixed rider, it's free. It's minus 21 in Edmonton right now, which is the high for today. We may... I was thinking we might get to minus 18 here about 9, 10 o'clock this evening with temperatures climbing. It just doesn't look, I'm not seeing any warming to the south, so it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Temperatures will just kind of flatline for the next little while. Minus 25 for the high in Fort McMurray. High level only made it to minus 33, minus 23 for the daytime high in Grand Prairie. So with temperatures around minus 20, minus 21 for a daytime high, this is the coldest Christmas Eve in Edmonton since 2021. It's not all that long ago, but if you look at the past 5 years, I mean, last year it was +4, and back in 2020 it was 8 degrees on Christmas Eve. So we've been above zero twice in the last 5 years on Christmas Eve. We'll be back above zero, it looks like, Monday. Cold warning, we've ended that for Fort McMurray and the Peace River regions, just high level in the Fort Chipewyan areas. We talked about this earlier, the fact that the southern part, the Red Deer area under that snowfall warning should probably have that warning lifted. About 5 minutes after we said that, they lifted it. So it's mainly right around Highway 16 and north that we have the heaviest of the snowfall right now. It is tapered off further to the south, although still coming down there in through parts of the foothills and the mountain parks around Banff, and then up in the Peace Country you have some snow. Watch this lift off to the northeast. So by about 10, 11 o'clock tonight, should be out of the Edmonton area. Still snowing, though, across parts of northern and especially northeastern Alberta. You'll pick up several centimeters of snow before this is all done with. Tomorrow morning, mostly cloudy skies here in Edmonton, but by midday, we'll see the sun come back out, and the winds should be fairly light. So actually not a bad weather day for Christmas. And then Boxing Day, it goes sideways again. You get some snow to the south through the morning hours, and then snow moving in from the west in the afternoon. So through the afternoon and into the evening, we've got several centimeters of snow from Edmonton south towards Red Deer. We'll see that push into eastern Alberta as well later in the day Friday and early Saturday. And for many areas, that's going to be another 5 to 10 centimeters, and that includes us here in the Edmonton region. So you get a break from the snow tomorrow, and then we'll put a whole bunch more down on the ground on Boxing Day. Watch your temperatures. Tomorrow, a little bit better than today. Should be back into the minus teens instead of the minus 20s. Behind that system that gives us the snow on Friday, Arctic air dives back in. But it's one and done. By Sunday, we start to warm up, and by Monday, we're back above zero. That won't last all that long either. You get that really cold day there Saturday, especially with the wind gusting. And it's going to feel in the minus 30s all day. above average for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then it gets cold again for Christmas Eve, for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and beyond. It's minus 21 in Edmonton right now with a little bit of wind, about 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. Stronger in eastern Alberta where wind chills are around minus 30. We'll be in the minus 25 range for wind chill through the rest of this evening. Snow tapering off mid to late evening, and then some sunny breaks tomorrow, especially midday, and a high of minus 17. There's that snow for Friday, and then falling temperatures Saturday before the warm-up early next week.
Thank you, Josh. Well, coming up, Ukraine and the United States working towards a peace deal.
Canada would be drawn into any sort of conflict if that security guarantee was provided to Ukraine.
The likelihood of Russia agreeing to the deal and its impact on Canada's involvement coming up next.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Southview Acura. Experience the elegance of the all-new Acura ADX.
Well, the United States and Ukraine have reportedly reached a consensus on the key issues in the U.S.-backed peace plan for Ukraine. Russia has yet to respond to the latest proposal to end the nearly 4-year conflict. CTV's Abigail Beeman with the latest on what's in the deal.
Ukraine released this video of a Russian attack on Zaporizhzhia, home to a major nuclear plant. Russia released drone footage of what it calls troop advancement and airstrikes in Donetsk, both areas the Ukrainian president says are still sticking points in the new peace plan. Volodymyr Zelensky says his negotiating team came back from the United States managing to strengthen the 20-point draft. And in a Christmas message, Zelensky says we ask for peace. While the Kremlin said Vladimir Putin has been briefed and Moscow will now formulate its position.
It could be the ultimate protection.
The head of the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress is talking about the draft deal's promise of security guarantees that mirror Article 5, the NATO collective defense principle that means an armed attack against one member is considered an attack against all.
It is a sincere need on the behalf of the Ukrainian government.
But much skepticism from experts that Russia will agree.
I don't believe that Vladimir Putin would accept that sort of a security guarantee. But if that were a part of that and it were agreed to by both sides, then yes, absolutely, Canada would be drawn into any sort of conflict if that security guarantee was provided to Ukraine.
Global Affairs tells CTV News Canada welcomes progress made and, quote, commends the significant efforts of President Trump and President Zelensky and their teams. Meanwhile, the French president said he met with the head of NATO to discuss work within the Coalition of the Willing, a group of Ukraine's allies, of which Canada is a member. Abigail.
Well, Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister is affirming Canada's support for Greenland sovereignty as Washington ramps up rhetoric about the territory. Anita Anand says she has spoken with her Danish counterpart. Greenland is a self-governed territory of Denmark. Anand says she conveyed support for the fundamental importance of respect for territorial integrity. Her comments come after U.S. President Donald Trump appointed a new envoy to the territory. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry said his goal in the job is to make Greenland a part of the U.S. He later said the U.S. is not trying to take over anybody's country. Well, the White House today also revealed more details on its plans regarding Venezuela. A U.S. official tells Reuters forces in the South Caribbean have been ordered to focus on quarantining oil as opposed to military action for now. There's been growing alarm in Venezuela as the Trump administration moved more than 15,000 troops into the region while ordering strikes on alleged drug boats and taking over sanctioned oil tankers. Mark Carney is wishing Canadians a Merry Christmas in his first holiday message as Prime Minister.
And although this year has brought more than its share of challenges to our country, we've also been reminded that we are fortunate to be part of one extraordinary, generous, and caring nation. That we're strongest when we're united, when we look out for each other, when we take care of each other. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, Canada. From my family to yours.
Well, Carney says the holiday season is a time to slow down and reflect and to reconnect with loved ones. All right, let's check in on Santa with the NORAD Santa tracker. And right now, he is still over Greenland and over 5.5 billion presents delivered. Well, stay with us. Coming up, a new set of standards for Canadian grocery companies.
The big thing you might see is a little more variation of supply.
How the new agreement will impact Canadian shoppers and grocery prices.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Taking a look at today's market, the Canadian dollar traded for 73 cents to the U.S. dollar. Oil was down just 3 cents, closing the day at $58 U.S. a barrel. Gold lost nearly $3 on the day. The TSX lost 58 points, while the Dow Jones gained 288 points. Canada's long-awaited grocery code of conduct is just days away from taking effect. Now, the voluntary set of standards is meant to guide how grocery retailers and their suppliers interact with one another, with the goal of making the food supply chain fairer and more transparent. CTV's Scott Hurst explains.
Shoppers are making last-minute trips to the grocery store to get all the holiday fixings.
Stuff to make pancakes for breakfast tomorrow. Some baby spinach.
Is that for the big feast?
That's for the big feast. That's the only thing I forgot.
But high prices leading to an expensive bill at the checkout continue to cut away some holiday cheer.
Usually prices is always going up.
Through 2025, Canadians have been dealing with food inflation that remains stubbornly high, keeping affordability as a top concern for much of the year.
Everything is going a little bit up, and then you realize the next month is more expensive and more expensive.
But beginning on January 1st, something new for the food industry, a grocery code of conduct.
The code of conduct is very simply a framework or a set of guidelines on the relationship between grocers and their suppliers.
Top grocers have all agreed to sign on. It's expected to promote a more fair and transparent supply chain, clear standards for a better commercial relationship between the supplier and seller. According to experts, it could lead to more choice and potentially level the playing field for some smaller stores and suppliers.
The big thing you might see is a little more variation of supply.
So it begs the question, will it have an impact on prices?
The transparency is good, the dispute settlement mechanism is good, but don't expect decreased food prices because of the grocery code of conduct.
Expect food to take a bigger bite of your budget next year. In fact, the latest food price report produced by several Canadian universities is projecting the average family of four to pay close to $1,000 more, with food inflation likely staying elevated between 4% to 6%. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
The Carney government is pulling back on a planned new rule around single-use plastics. An export ban on those items was supposed to take effect Saturday. Instead, the government launched consultations on the rule, saying the expected environmental benefits weren't proportional to the economic impact. The domestic ban on single-use plastics, such as grocery bags, straws, cutlery, and ring carriers for cans, remains in place. Businesses that produce single-use plastics will have to keep records showing their products are being exported. The federal government has relaunched its Canada Strong Pass for the holiday season, keeping some Alberta parks busier than usual. Until January 15th, Canadians can take advantage of free admission to national parks, discounts on overnight stays, and free entry into museums. While it's the off-season for national parks like Waterton Lakes, officials say it's a great time to still visit.
It's so beautiful and so pretty down there right now, and you get the park to yourself, and there's quite a bit open. There's 4 hotels that are open now, 2 restaurants. It's actually 3 restaurants, sorry. There'll be a gift shop open for the winter.
Now, the Canada Strong Pass will also return in summer of 2026. Canman Dan's annual foray into the frigid elements is over. He says he collected upwards of 27,000 kilograms of food for Edmonton's food bank. Dan Johnstone, better known as Canman Dan, spent a total of 10 days outside battling the elements this month. Most recently, a 7-day stretch outside of Sobeys. Over his 15 years of collecting donations, he says he's still blown away by the generosity of Edmontonians over the holiday season. He says people seem to donate a little more as the temperature drops.
Honestly, it was one of the most taxing things I've ever done. It was hard, it was cold, and if this was 15 years ago, sure, maybe young Dan could have done it, but not this old man, not old Dan. So, I don't know, man. It was hard, it was tough, but the numbers speak for themselves. We did so much good for our food bank that it was worth it.
John Stone says even though he won't be camping out, he hopes Edmontonians keep the food bank top of mind into the new year. Well, coming up, Christmas in the mountains.
There's a lot of ornaments, there's a lot of magic, there's an insane amount of ribbon and garlands, tons of trees.
The preparation it takes to turn Banff Springs Hotel into a winter wonderland.
Programming brought to you by Southview Acura. Experience the elegance of the all-new Acura ADX.
The Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel is one of Canada's most iconic buildings, and every December it bumps up to a new level as a team of designers and decorators turn it into a Christmas fairy tale castle. CTV's Kevin Green went for a behind-the-scenes tour with the designer responsible for this year's display.
Under new fallen snow, the Banff Springs Hotel looks like the setting for a Hallmark Christmas movie, but it's inside where Christmas has exploded in Technicolor.
There's a lot of ornaments, there's a lot of magic, there's an insane amount of ribbon and garlands, tons of trees, but it's really about making those moments special during the holiday season. And the castle lends itself to creating these little moments of magic.
It's a few weeks of shopping.
It took Corey Christopher and his crew of up to 12 staff 20 days to deck the halls in Banff's signature hotel.
I think there's over 100 trees throughout the hotel, whether they're a 3-footer all the way up to the gigantic one behind me. Probably ornament-wise, I would say we go 5, maybe even 6,000 ornaments.
Size matters, especially when decorating what's essentially a castle. Some rooms are so big they make even a 10-meter tall tree look small.
Scale becomes crucial and important in delivering the overall magic of the season. That tree, if you're standing on a balcony, can look quite small. So I'm always thinking about how are we engaging the architecture of the space.
For designer Christopher, the real magic comes not from his decorations, but from the way people react to them.
I am around a corner and I'll hear someone go, "Mom, look at that." And they're pointing up to the snowflakes dangling from the sky with lights, or the beautiful branches that we've sort of created this gorgeous archway that feels like outside has just started growing up the walls. And those moments are so special and touching because ultimately that means I've done my job, that someone has had a special moment. I've already started planning for next year.
Kevin Green, CTV News, Banff.
All right, let's take one last look at the NORAD Santa tracker. And Santa was in Canada for a little bit and then headed back to Greenland. But he is very, very close to coming back to our country to deliver those gifts.
So you better get home quickly if you're not already at home. The snow, the good news for anybody that has to do any driving here, the snow has now moved to the north of the Edmonton area, at least the heavier snow. There's maybe still a few flurries in that region, but you can see it's all mainly now north of Highway 16, except for that little pocket there off to the southeast around Camrose, and that should be gone fairly quickly. So we may even see this snowfall warning for the city ended within the next hour. Minus 17 tomorrow. We will get some sunshine, especially midday. Then back to snow, probably 5 to 10 centimeters on Friday. Really cold Saturday. Gusty wind will put wind chill in the minus 30s all day Saturday, but warmer for at least a couple days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week.
Looking forward to that warm up, and I was going to be like, that's it. I was going to steal your...
No, Purdy stole it last night.
Yes.
Don't steal it tonight.
And, you know, I saw that. I was like, he did steal it. He did. Imitation is the sincerest form.
That's an homage to my pops. I do that because my dad used to wave it that way.
Have a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas. And be safe out there.